Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Circle Club. I'm Tyrone. Today, I am joined by these three lovely Barbies, and today is brought to you by the horses and the patriarchy.
Oh, you're gonna cop some hate.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Circle Club. I'm Tyrone. I'm here with Miss Thalia of Tea Time, Meghan of Meghan's E World, and Jamie Lee. How's everyone doing?
Super.
Good, good.
Fantastic.
Yes, yes. So Megan just saw Barbenheimer, or I guess Barbie and Oppenheimer. So I'm
Yeah.
cur- I'm curious. For those of you who actually did it, what did you think, Megan?
So this will be my second time watching Barbie. First time watching Oppenheimer. I watched Oppenheimer first, then rewatched Barbie. Oppenheimer, not gonna lie, don't hate me, film bros. Underwhelming to me. And I saw Barbie a second time, so I like this one a lot
Yeah,
better.
clearly, clearly. What about you, Talia?
Just both of them or just Barbie?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like quick, like what did you think of like Barbenheimer, the whole thing, the
Oh my
experience?
god. It definitely was an experience. I'm glad I got to do it with
Mm.
you and obviously Carly and Adam.
Mhm.
I will say I love Barbie a lot more than Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
But I'm kind of jealous, Megan. I want to see it again too. I probably will. I
yeah.
probably will.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to hit like Blu-ray and streaming and everything. And then Miss Jamie Lee, you got to go to a premiere for Barbie. What the hell was that like?
Oh, perfection, heaven, a dream. Any other really good descriptive terms? It was great. I sent you the pictures. Everybody dressed up. Everybody was in pink, or looked like a Barbie or looked like a Ken. It was just perfect. It was so good.
Yeah, I absolutely. I thought like this was such a cool thing to be a part of, and like seeing everyone sort of commit and have pink everywhere, and like I just thought like it was a very cool moment for movies, and it kind of felt like I was sitting in the theater and I was like, this is like our like reaction to being inside after like all these years of COVID. It was like this culmination of like this is the movie moment. So that was really cool. But yeah, I agree with you. I thought Oppenheimer, it was underwhelming. Sorry, film bros, but it's Nolan, so you watch. But Barbie just exceeded my expectations beyond belief. I thought it was so funny, but at the same time, so dramatic, so serious. I cried at one point. Like it was serious. Like Barbie was legit. So let's go around and just everyone say maybe what their first impressions after seeing the movie once or twice was. Jamie Lee, since we ended with you, let's start with you.
It was perfect, in my opinion. And when I say that, I mean specifically for me. The message was for me. It was a tribute to me, my childhood, my mum, how my life was, and the message that was given to me as a child, which was that I can imagine through play, I can imagine and create whatever I wanted and be with these dolls whoever I wanted. And that message was like carried through to my life that I can be who I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the perfect thing, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but the perfect thing at the end of the movie for me was that you're not pigeonholed by one thing.
Yeah.
You're not just the blonde. You're not just the girl in the wheelchair. You can be a mixture of things. And regardless of what those skills or abilities or qualities are, you're beautiful and you're perfect and respected for all of those things that make you who you are. So, oh, mate.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Great.
I mean, it hit all of those things that you talked about. Like, I mean, even like what you mentioned, just the portion of playing. Like, I didn't have Barbies growing up. My sister did, but like we had action figures and other things, and I would always steal the Barbie or whatever. Like, make my own little movies and things and story. But like the way Greta did it, it really felt like there was just someone who had all these actors just holding them, like playing with them and stuff. And I like too, like even in the real world, how like it got real, but at the same time like they did sort of get back into that sort of playful manner with it. So oh yeah, just fantastic. Megan, what did you think? You saw it two
Oh,
times,
yeah.
so oh my gosh.
Yes, yes. And I think I actually liked it more the second time I watched it. It's really good. But yeah, I gave it on Letterboxd a 4.5. But I think I'm gonna reach it and go to 5 stars
Yeah.
actually, because I was just like, oh, this is really good. But yeah, like honestly, I thought it was like exceeded my expectations. I loved the attention to detail with Barbie Land, but also like you said, Tyrone, a lot of the campiness and fun too, because we've had a lot of serious films within the past few years. So it's really nice to actually have a fun, self-aware film, but also it grounds you in a lot of dramatics, and it does it really well too. So yeah, exceeded my expectations a lot, and it's really nice too. Like the first time I watched it, I felt myself going like, "Oh, I remember that doll. I remember that doll." It kind of felt like a Marvel movie to me.
No, honestly. Did you all sort of have that same experience where you all like, "Oh my God, I play with that one," or "I've seen that one"?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The one that I noticed was the one with the video on the back. It like unlocked the memory. I was like, "What? I haven't seen that in so long." I will say, I thought it was almost like, I was like, "There's no way that this, like the mature Barbie, what was it called? Like the one where she goes from being a girl to a woman, like where like the breath is like,
Growing Up Stacey, was it? And her arm twists and she gets
her arm twists and she got
I literally LOL. I was like,
Skipper. Growing Up Skipper.
Yes, that's what it's growing up. I cracked up. It was so fun. I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy that they made this doll. And funny enough, at work, someone was talking about it. They were like, I actually had that doll, and I didn't think much of it growing up. I was like, insane. Thalia, what did you think?
Honestly, it really brought back just like a lot of memories as a child. I didn't really grow up with a lot of Barbie dolls. I know I had like maybe like a couple here and there throughout my life, but like aesthetically, I just was loving the whole thing. I was like, damn, I wish I had all of like these Barbies growing up, and it kind of just fulfilled that thing that I was missing in that childhood. Like, oh, I love just seeing this in front of the screen, and the whole cast like just killed it, obviously, and the music, I think it just like itched my brain. Do you know what I mean? Like, like the whole like playlist of that or the soundtrack, sorry, just was phenomenal.
Absolutely, I agree. And with that being said, let's talk about that, the Barbie experience. Like, so I know, Jamie Lee, you got into it a little bit, but like, what was your Barbie experiences growing up for each of you?
I pretty much just said everything. I was lucky enough to have Barbies. We didn't grow up with a lot of money, but my mum always rewarded me with things like that. And I don't know about you guys, but here in Australia, we actually had like Barbie team up with McDonald's. So when you bought like Happy Meals, you could get
Barbies,
we had that. Or you could get Hot Wheels. Yeah, so that was cool too. And it was a treat, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I did have the camper van, the dream houses, things like this. So, and even now to this day, like I was trying to do my review before, and I've literally pulled in the toys that I have sitting in my freaking lounge room because we have this stuff, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up with this, so again, to see it all come to life on the big screen, it was literally a dream. It was like seeing a dinosaur or seeing Star Wars, or like whatever your thing is, seeing that on the screen, that was it for me.
And I know you have a daughter. Like, does she play with Barbies? Because that was something that I was thinking. I was like,
question.
I was like, does Barbie still translate to young girls today, or is it sort of like our generation and millennials, and before? Because that's something that they talked about in the film as well. So is that something that your daughter still experiences?
Oh yeah. That same message is I'm putting onto her as well, that you know you can make whatever you want, you know. But my Barbie is literally, I'll show you. There she is. She's got a monobrow. Why? Because she can.
I love that.
This one here's got a tattoo. She's got tattoos on her face. Why? Because Mummy's got tattoos.
I love it.
I love that.
You can do what you want. That's amazing. You can be whoever you want. It's such a good message.
It really is iconic. What about you two?
Yeah, my experience is very similar. I grew up with Barbies. Actually, my grandma and my aunt are doll collectors, so it's been ingrained in me. So yeah, they had a huge Barbie collection, and then they gave me Barbies during Christmas. My parents would give me Barbies, and yeah, I had Midge Happy Family, so that was like one of my favorite little tidbits of the movie.
Yep.
I loved that controversial doll so much. I had a little play set and all that stuff, so that was my favorite. Even though Midge didn't have any lines or anything, I still love that little shout out.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
But that's I kind of like how she inspirational. That was my way of playing and everything. Actually, how I got my username, or what I kind of go Megan's World, because every time I played, when I was a kid, I said, "Oh, I'm in Megan's World," so I'll play with my dolls and stuff, and that was like my creative space. So it's kind of a fun full circle moment right here. But yeah, I have a very close love. I absolutely love Barbie.
Nice.
Oh, good.
And Thalia,
I have the video games too. So I was obsessed.
the video games, the movies,
That's
McDonald's meal.
amazing.
Thalia, were you more like a Bratz girl, or what was that?
You know, I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I probably was more like Bratz, or like I played more Bratz, Polly Pocket. Like I did more of those, I think, than Barbie. But I don't know, just like the concept of playing with dolls and, you know, kind of using them as a way to, like, you know, have them experience different like
Yes.
lifestyles, you know? And that's how, like, if you look back at my play dates with my friends back when I was younger, we literally came up with whole different scenarios for our dolls. Like, it was crazy. But I definitely think that, you know, it definitely played an aspect in my life, either whether I was playing with dolls or, you know, because I wasn't like always having the money to, you know, buy Barbies. You know, I found different ways to, like, you know, use different toys that I could get to, you know, create some imagination.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting because, like, my experience is a little bit of, like, all of your experiences put together, like, watching vicariously through my sister, my mom. My mom is and was a Barbie collector. And then, you know, similar to you, Jamie Lee, like, my sister being a black girl, like, having an actual doll that looked like her was, like, a really big deal. And, like, I've always noticed over the years that Barbie sort of found ways to, like, incorporate people from all aspects of life, not just race, its size, its color, its tattoos, like you said. You know, Barbie could be anything, which is pretty cool. And then, like, Thalia, like you said, like, we would have all other types of, like, dolls and action figures. So, like, for me, being, like, such a movie kid even when I was younger, I used to love, like, I kind of what Greta did here is, like, that's how I used to play with them. I'd be replaying Toy Story and stuff with the Barbies and, like, you know, really getting into it. But poor Ken, it did. Like, I noticed none of you talked about Ken, so I'm assuming none of you. Do you not have a Ken doll?
One of my favorite freaking dolls here, mate, is a Ken doll.
What about the men?
There was the very first time that I'd seen something like this, and now it's everywhere, like the color changing. But it was Shaver Ken, and you could literally shave his beard off, which was just something out of this world for me. So I definitely have love for the Kens out there. There's no hate here.
Like, Happy Family was my favorite collection, so I loved Alan from that. It's not the same. It's not the same Alan from the Barbie movie, but it's like a different Alan. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I really liked playing with Midge and Alan and stuff, and I had the black version, and I loved that. I always had like the black version, but I also had the white versions too. Barbie, the stereotypical Barbie.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Meghan, it was the same way in our house, and we had a couple white Barbies too, but like the collectibles, my mom would always make sure to get, you know, the black doll, which obviously, you know, very important. But I feel like Alan, I could see that doll like going off the charts. Like, you know, everyone's gonna want that because like it was like Michael Cera had such like and we'll get into casting and stuff right now. Why not? Michael Cera to me had such a small but large role. I loved it. What did you all think about the casting, the acting, the performances?
I'm just super happy that Ryan Gosling did incredible. To me, he stole the show. Like, I was really proud that Margot Robbie, she's an Australian. She's from Queensland, where I'm from. So that was another real connection that I was like, this thing that's been a part of my life all my life is now still a part of my life because she's one of me. And I know that shouldn't matter, but I just felt really even more connected to it. But everybody was hating on Ryan Gosling, not me, but a lot of people were. And I was like, why? This guy nails everything that he does, right? And he nailed it. He was incredible. He stole the show.
Yes, he did a great job. Yeah, after my second time viewing it, I'm just like, Man, Ryan did a great job. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
definitely.
his performance so much, and I'm glad he exceeded expectations for a lot of people because a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's too old to play Ken." I'm like, "Who do you think
Right.
should play Ken?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
like,
Megan.
even if he,
No, I was just gonna say I was on the camp at the beginning. I was like, I love Ryan Gosling and he's super talented, but I was like, is he a little too old? Like, does this fit? Does this work? But like, no, he just nailed it, man. I was a big Glenn Powell should be because he looks it, but I think it also really depends on the direction that they you could have went with it. And I feel like this direction, I don't think Glenn Powell could have hit those beats the same way Ryan Gosling did. Like Ryan Gosling was destined for this, and I was watching it, and I kind of felt you know how Disney stars, they grow up, they kind of feel embarrassed about being so flamboyant and fun and wild because you know, it's not real acting. I kind of felt like this was sort of his way to apologize, or I guess let his child self heal and be like, you know what, life's too short, be fun, be free. And it totally just conveyed in his performance. I thought he nailed it. And Margot just, I mean, top to bottom, every scene, I was just if I ever need someone to cry, my God, that woman is just perfection. So
yes, oh my gosh! And then it's so funny when you mentioned Disney because Ryan Gosling was on the Mickey Mouse Club in the '90s, so he's bringing that energy. He's always had energy.
Exactly. And Thalia, what about you? Any casting, acting really stood out to you, or?
I think, because I had to think about it, but I think having America Ferrera in the movie was, I think, just spot on with the roles that she's had in the past, because she's a Latina, and the roles that she's had were not really, you know, she didn't fit what people would say is the stereotypical beauty standard for a Latina woman. So I think it was interesting that they put her in Barbie as a way, as someone who is still kind of figuring out, the way of how they present themselves in the real world, whether it's based off their physical appearance or their motivation in life and whatnot. But I thought she did great in that film, and it was just the throwback because we grew up watching her in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and Ugly Betty and all that. So I just loved her for the most part in that movie.
Yeah, Talia, it really felt like everyone sort of got their full circle moment to kind of take their bow and and it felt I don't know, did you all get the sense that there was this sense of community on the set? I don't know if that's actually how it was, but it just felt like all the Kens. It didn't feel like anyone was trying to upstage each other. Kind of like Issa Rae, right? Issa Rae's huge director, huge name, but her role, she just fit it and just crushed it. She didn't try to overdo it. She didn't try to step. You know what I mean? And that's it just felt like everyone played their role and just to perfection to me. I don't know. Was there any other standout performances?
Honestly, the dancers and the background actors for Barbie and Ken, honestly, give some respect to
Pay
the
them.
background actors.
Right.
Oh my God.
First and foremost, and the background dancers, y'all deserve equal pay. Y'all deserve to get your coins.
Right.
We're fighting for during this strike, by the way. Okay.
Right.
I just want to put that out there. But honestly, they did a great job. But I'm like, man, I wish I was on set that day playing a Barbie.
Oh
Doing
my
the little
God.
dance sequence.
Yes.
And then the Ken fight sequence too. Man, everyone did a great job.
I was
Well, I
dying.
was reading about that, and apparently, Simu Liu was. Oh, maybe I've got it the other way around. No, I think that was the right way around. He was like, "Hey, we should do this," suggesting these things to make amp it up and really, get that energy going. And Ryan Gosling was like, "Ugh," just as a person, frustrated, really, you want to do that? And then Greta was like, "Yes. That's what we want. Keep that energy." So that sort of came across from real life feelings.
Yeah.
As well, I guess.
Those two were just kind of I'm the Ken. Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, we'll get into the plot in a moment, because just that whole thing was there. Again, they had such small little moments, but it was so large. The other thing, Talia, too, with America Ferrera, when she was giving her speech, I was like, is this gonna be sort of cheesy, corny? But I really, really thought the delivery was there. And then it was very punctual and timely too. After the comedic beats that the way that she delivered those lines, it really worked. I also thought the other Barbies too, like everyone was sort of different in their own way, and it wasn't just like visually, like they all had their own personalities, and it really kind of showed. Like some Barbies were a bit shy, but like still kind of shine. Some were a bit more, you know, exciting and exhilarating, all over the place. Like, and but yeah, so I really liked that. I really also thought that the young girls, like who was with America, I don't know the actor's name. I'll look it up in a moment, but.
Sasha.
Yes, she was. I thought she did a really good job as well.
Little Gamora.
Oh,
It was bugging me for so long, and then halfway through, I was like, gotcha. Don't remember her name, but that's her.
Oh yeah, she did a really good job. What did you all think of Kate McKinnon?
Amazing.
Yeah, great.
She was perfect, like weird Barbie, and like I just love, like she's like I don't know, the film is so comic, but like she was like a great like comic relief during that dramatic scene and everything, and just fantastic. Honestly, for weird Barbie.
Yeah. And even the like the actual scene of showing how we got Weird Barbie was just incredible because you know it was so us. It was so 90s where you've got like Spice Girls, spice up your life and popping up her hair. Like that was what we did, man.
Yeah.
It was so good.
My mom used to get. Go ahead, Megan.
I took care of my Barbies really well, but when I would go over to some of my friends' houses, Weird Barbie was everywhere, and she was always in the splits, and I love that detail. I love how that's a part of the plot.
Yeah.
Like, even now, Chelsea, like, she loves Wednesday, so she goes around, like, making all her dolls, like, Wednesday.
Emo, like gothic.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So, same thing. You just make them weird and, like, wacky and, so good.
Yeah, my mom, being the collector, she was always get like mad at my sister. She's like, "What did you do to this Barbie?" And like also like we couldn't really be affording to be just buying Barbies, so she was like, "What are you doing?" But it's so true because like when you're running around in the neighborhood or playing around, you're like, "Is that a Barbie in like the alley there?" You know, like what's she been doing all night? Oh my God! And then also too, Jamie Lee, I know you're a big sex education fan. They had Connor Swindle in there. They had Gatwa was in there, and then Emma Mackey. I
was just waiting for Asa Butterfield to show up, and then I was like, "Here we go, season 4."
Had the entire cast in there. What did you think about their performance?
Yeah, I loved them, all of them. I mean, I know I've heard a lot of controversy about them, the other Barbies and the other Kens being underused. Yeah. But you need to look at it in the sense that this is a 2-hour movie that is supposed to be about Barbie and Barbie's journey. We'll get the spin-offs later. Yeah, we will get to all of these other Barbies and Kens. Like, this is about her origin. This is about a tribute to the OG stereotypical Barbie and her journey on creating those other Barbies and Kens. So I totally understand that they didn't get as much screen time. But the screen time that they did get, they nailed.
Yes. Yeah, it was great. It's not an easy task to try to, like, you know, have all these big names and personalities on the screen. But I thought, like I said, like it fit and it fit really well. And I don't think we needed to get everyone's story. As you said, we'll get spin-offs, I'm sure, and all like the Barbie multi-universe or whatever, because everything's a multi-universe nowadays, right? And then lastly, what did you think of Dua Lipa's little cameo in John Cena?
It was like stupid cute. Like it was much needed, I felt like.
I feel like Dua has that like heart of Barbie. I don't know.
Yes.
Like John Cena, like I saw like images of him in the wig and stuff, and I didn't think it was real. And then when I saw him in the movie, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, he's in this movie!"
Same, Megan. I thought there's been so much like misinformation about Oppenheimer and Barbie. I didn't know if that was real or Photoshop because like people put John Cena in freaking everything. You know, he's just like a meme at this point. Oh, hilarious. All right, let's jump into the plot. So going into this, I really didn't know what to expect. Like I told you, I didn't really watch the trailer. I was sort of like, how do we? Is this gonna be like a long SNL kind of thing? So the plot just blew me away. I mean, that final scene where it's like the montage of the different women, I couldn't hold back. I was like, it was like one of these moments I was like, man, I love women. Like, women are awesome. It was just like I don't know how you could sit through that and not cry. Seriously, like it was just so good. But overall, what did you think generally about the plot of the story?
I was shocked that the villain wasn't who I thought it was gonna be, or villain.
Who'd you think?
I thought it was gonna be Will Ferrell.
Same,
it seemed like he came out to be more of the villain in the trailers, but there wasn't really a villain. It was just more of the Kens, trying to take over Barbie Land with, their masculinity and all that. But
yeah.
I was just shocked by that because I wasn't expecting it. It was a whole different take than what I came into when I came in watching it. But I think I prefer that a lot better because we're so used to there being like a villain,
right.
trying to make things worse or corrupting whatever. But I thought taking it with multiple people, a whole group of people being sort of like an issue going on.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting take that Greta took.
Yeah, I agree. Like I sort of, I'm not the biggest Lego movie fan, but like it's okay to me. But I was like kind of thought it was gonna go more that route. Sorry, I know sacrilegious. I apologize. I know I'm gonna get some unsubs after saying that. But like it was okay to me. But I just thought that like Will Ferrell was gonna sort of like try to stop her or like stop Barbie from getting in the world, and that was gonna be like, you have to choose. Do you want to be a doll or disappear or something like one of those kind of things? But this was so much better to me. I thought I didn't think Ken was gonna be as involved either.
Yes.
I kind of thought he was more like, all right, like on the side, and like giving him that sort of like journey and arc. I thought that was a really special little detail to add in there as well. Meghan, what did you think?
Oh yeah, like I really liked how it subverted our expectations because everyone, thought Will Ferrell was going to be the villain, and I'm glad it wasn't solely a fish out of water story because we have the movie Life Size that's just like that. It's basically a Barbie movie but before Barbie.
Right.
We won't get like a repeat of Life Size, but I loved how the plot surrounded gender and gender roles and femininity and masculinity, which a lot of people didn't like. But I thought that was perfect because Barbie captures all of that. A lot of times when you're, I don't know if anyone has taken a gender studies class, but sometimes Barbie is mentioned, at least in one of the conversations.
Of course, yeah.
So, and there's been upon article talking about Barbie, how she's good for women, how she's bad for women. People from whatever political spectrum you lie on, someone has had a criticism against Barbie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I'm a really big Lady Bird fan with Greta, but I kind of felt, she didn't strike me so much as the type of director to do something like this, in my opinion. And I was very shocked but happy and proud because I thought the message was super important. I thought it was a message that a lot of people needed. I saw a couple male reviewers kind of be like, oh, I'm not the target audience for this. I'm like, you kind of are, actually. Like, you should be. You should watch this. You should sort of take home the message that they're trying to put out there. And I think that's also a really big issue too. But yeah, I agree, Meghan. I thought it was really cool that she focused in on that sort of plot about gender expectations. And as you said, there's always been people who say, oh, well, Barbie is super thin and all this, but they even had that moment in where Margot Robbie is in it, and then I think Helen Mirren's kind of like, okay, Margot Robbie's probably not the best example for this.
Oh god,
should have cast someone else for that.
Exactly.
To make that more believable.
Exactly.
For that scene in particular, but I thought that was really fun, and I loved how the film. Also, I love how it has Mattel's backing too.
Yes.
Because Mattel is very self-aware. They're not trying to make Barbie someone that she's not, and they're addressing all of the controversies from the past and making also making kind of tongue-in-cheek references, but not things like unapologetically too. Like, hey, we had like this controversial earring Ken, but
Right.
whatever. There's a discontinued Ken around Weird Barbie. Oh, we have pregnant Midge. That was kind of weird, but whatever. Like, you know,
Right.
all these fun discontinued type of dolls, and like, I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was super well done too. Jamie Lee, do you have any thoughts on the plot?
Everything what was just mentioned, but also I think it tapped into a little bit there, what Meghan was saying about, you know, like being self-aware of itself. It also tapped into like a little bit of corporate greed. Like all of the CEOs on the panel were men. And I don't know if you know, but the CEOs in Mattel, there's been 3 women, and they actually crack a joke in that saying, well, we've had more than one CEO that was a woman. Like, trying to take the piss out of that.
Right.
And also, there was a scene there where they're like, oh, maybe we should make an everyday Barbie. And he's like, that's absurd. And then the other CEO's like, that could make us a lot of money, sir. And he's like, okay, we'll do it. Like, it really took the piss out of, corporate greed, as well as a bunch of other things that we've already touched on there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. There's definitely, like, to me, there's 3 plots that I saw. It's like you have Barbie's plot about, you know, sort of self-acceptance, loving yourself for what you are, and that's her whole message, right? Then you have Ken, who's sort of like having this sort of identity crisis, almost like, I'm not trauma bonding, but like, you know, he's like, he's attaching himself to Barbie. He doesn't have his own sort of identity, and which is what a lot of...
To the point where when he was arrested, his thing literally said, and Ken.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
one of the things that I pissed myself laughing at, because it's always Barbie and Ken. It's never Ken, you know?
And I found myself kind of feeling bad, because I was like, yeah, I don't really think about Ken on his own, to be honest with you. But like, I thought that was also really powerful, because I think there are a lot of men out there who sort of do some of the things that Ken did as well, like where they feel disconnected or whatever maybe, and then like they find these sort of negative groups who are like, yeah, you know, I'm just like this and we're all just like each other. What did you think about Ken's sort of arc going through that? I literally like was in tears laughing when he goes up those steps and sees the horses and he sees JFK and Reagan, and he's like, this is the best thing ever.
It is so funny. One thing I noticed from I learned this. I noticed it from my first viewing, but I like forgot about it upon my second viewing. But when he's going up the stairs and going to the gym, you see a guy with a fur coat, and then the fur coat, he like brings that to Barbie world, and then also they're saying like the more he hears the men talk, they say men.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I just loved that coat too. Like when I think of that coat, I think of Rocky Balboa wearing that coat. So he's like the manliest man that I can think of. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought that was
cute in the gym.
Yeah, it was
funny, very funny.
There were so many funny little moments like that. Even lines like, you know, when he's like talking about the patriarchy, he's like, yeah, it's not, you know, it's not the same. He's like, whoa, it's not completely gone. Like, you know, we just sort of hide it. It's still around. Don't worry, man. Like, and I thought it was funny too that like he was not qualified for so many jobs, and he's talking to the doctor, and he goes, can I actually talk to a doctor? She's like, I am a doctor.
Can I be a doctor? No, but I'm a man. That's great.
Oh my gosh.
What I loved about Ken though is, I know there's like we're taking the piss and it's very jokey to do with him, which is what his character is designed to be. We're not saying that men are a joke. We're not saying that men are stupid and dumb. Ken specifically, that is his place. That's he doesn't know who he is yet.
He's a bimbo,
you know,
or himbo.
Yeah, which is what Barbie was to some people before she developed and evolved into being what she is now, which is anyone. And Ken hopefully will get that same thing. But my point is, his arc was perfect because he went to the real world and he learnt this stuff. Sure, it was the wrong knowledge to learn, and the structure of that and the message is wrong. But he went somewhere, he absorbed it, he went back to Barbie Land, and he transformed it. He made an impact on this world himself. Not with Barbie. He did that as Ken. He brought the Kenemies together. He made the bloody, what did he call them? Mojo Dojo Man Caves or whatever they were. And that to me is Ken accomplishing something. Sure, it might be the wrong thing,
Right.
but he accomplished something in that movie, and at the end of it is where we get that big payoff that he is going to find his identity as Ken. You know, he will go on a journey to find who he is and what he enjoys, just like she did. She came full circle and came to the conclusion that despite going to the real world and feeling sad and angry and hurt and all these emotions that she felt there, despite all those things, she wanted to be human. So she came to that like conclusion herself that that's what she wanted to be, and we're going to see that with Ken in a spin-off. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. We'll get into some Easter eggs and like other things on the side, but I don't know if you guys heard Cillian Murphy says that he wants to potentially be a Ken in the future, which would just, I'm sure the studios would just go, oh my God, it's happening, you know?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that would be so amazing. I hope he becomes a Ken.
Cillian Murphy as Ken. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what like rendition of Ken he should be. I'm like, trying to like think about that.
I can't. Yeah, it's so out there that I'm like, I need it. You know, I need to see it. But yeah, like I also thought it was sort of funny that Greta sort of found this little detail of like horses to attach to him as well, because Jamie Lee, I don't know, like you being an Australian, if like it's something that you notice, but like we have so many horses everywhere in America. It's like it's on statues, they're in our paintings, they're in our movies. The Cowboys have. It's like it was such a weird thing to pick for her, but like I thought it was funny. What did you all think?
Oh, that was funny.
Hilarious. Like I thought, like it just added, like it's just such a weird detail that people don't really realize. But like, yeah, horses is a big thing in America.
Right.
And like it kind of relates to like, okay, kind of to like a deeper level. And I might be overthinking it, but you know, it relates to colonization. You know, like you know, in a way, and that's essentially what. Well, not really.
What Ken,
that's not what Ken did, but like.
But he did.
In a way,
Yeah.
You know, introducing Barbie Land to these new things that's already established society, and saying, "Hey, these patriarchal ideas, you know, these Eurocentric ideas."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And what did you all think of when we actually got to like Ken's world? Like, did you find any scenes particularly funny over the other? I was sort of getting like High School Musical vibes with the dance number. I thought like you could have bet on it, you know, like just running. But I thought I that was sort of a funny moment to see as well how the Barbies were reacting as well. They were like, wait, it's kind of like a vacation for your brain, like, you know, like. That little detail. But what did you all think of Ken's world? Because I didn't think we were going to get any of Ken's world, so that was like a nice touch.
Ken's world felt like a big frat house.
Definitely.
And I like, which is like one of the reasons why this movie is PG-13. Like, don't bring your kids to it. I know it's Barbie.
No. Yeah.
Like everyone's drinking beer. The house is a mess when they do the Barbie house.
Right. Everyone's beaching each other off.
So
like.
But they also made it kind of cute as well, and cartoony and fun. Like they didn't make it look super dystopian, even though that's like Barbie's dystopia.
Yeah. Right. That's our hell. And then I think the third sort of plot here is like you have this plot about a mother and a daughter and sort of that passage of time and disconnection that they were having. What did you all feel being daughters, like in particular? Like, did you relate to that even more? Did you feel it hit the nail in the coffin? Like, what were your thoughts there?
I mean, for me, I don't personally relate to that. I know that sounds really privileged because it's like my mom, even though she didn't have a lot of Barbies growing up, she played with me all the time. And that was kind of like her way of having Barbies. But I could understand there being a disconnect there, especially when girls grow up. And also, I think that whole scene was kind of relating to kind of like this new generation that's not really into dolls and stuff and are a little bit more critical Especially middle schoolers too. They're like wise beyond their years almost
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of social media.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
and
God.
that's kind of that like I don't really hang out with like a lot, well, I obviously don't hang out with preteens, but I've heard stories about like preteens and stuff that have like some similar ideas to how Sasha was. So it just kind of shows like I kind of consider that a millennial versus Gen Z, younger Gen Z disconnect.
Yeah.
More than
Definitely.
a mother-daughter kind of strife, I guess.
Mm.
You know. That's how I viewed it.
No, yeah, I definitely see that. So I get what you mean. Cause yeah, like I don't know, like I sort of have a bias as well because I don't really know, so I'm looking from 1,000 feet. But I was kind of like, yeah, you know, this is something we hear all the time that like, you know, kids nowadays aren't really playing with dolls, they're not playing with cars, they're not like they're so focused on like likes and Instagram and all this sort of stuff. And I at this point I don't even know how young kids are on Instagram, but like, you know, I just remember growing up, not to be old man Tyrone, but like I remember just growing up, like we had phones, but it was more to like call your parents to pick you up, you know?
Yeah.
And like now it's just such an escape into text people and like even texting, like
Crazy.
we had like 200 texts for the month, if that, you know? And so I agree, Megan. I definitely think that that's sort of where they were going. All right, Jamie Lee, got to bounce it a bit. No worries. But let's hop into a couple Easter eggs before Jamie Lee gets out of here. Were there any Easter eggs that stood out to you?
Or you found out later?
The one that I noticed on the screen and I was really proud of was the Chelsea treehouse. We've got that in the lounge room there, and seeing Skipper like included as well. They cracked a real good funny about how this has happened once before when Skipper got out and came to the real world and she kidnapped children, which I know sounds like way off as a joke, but Skipper is like the babysitter doll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because she's a teen and she had to go into like a work, you know, like employment, that was what she did. She babysat, you know, and now there's a whole range of Skipper that is the babysitting doll. So yeah, I thought that was real funny and nice to have Barbie's siblings included, which again, I'm sure we're going to see in future movies and things. So I thought that was really like a cute little Easter egg to see them in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the bits with Ruth Handler. I loved that. It was like I didn't notice I didn't notice until the second time I watched it, but they actually call her the ghost of Ruth because she passed away in 2002. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of fun. But like, I thought it was fun, and like they also made like, you know, quips about her and like how she like, you know, had tax evasion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of like legal issues he had because of like the copyright thing or the patent thing for Barbie, because there was another doll called Build Lily before, which is basically so similar to Barbie. So there was that whole controversy there.
Yeah.
But I just liked how they kind of threw it back to the beginning, and you know, I just loved that little scene too, just being a Barbie nerd myself. I thought that was a really good Easter egg too, but it's even more than an Easter egg. But I loved that.
Thalia, any standout to you?
I was hearing that people were relating it to like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
How you know, but in like reverse. Like they start off in this colorful, like possessed, you know, world, and then they go right into like that black and white of our own reality.
Yeah.
Where there's just so much, you know, going on. And it's just, you know, obviously following Barbie's journey into that, and, you know, her, you know, self journey of, you know, who she is as a person and all that. So since when I heard that, I was like, oh, you know, that does actually make sense, and it kind of does. And I think they do actually feature the Wizard of Oz on like, the theater or something.
Yeah, theater in the background.
So it's funny
and
how
the pink brick road.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
So it's funny how, you know, Greta included that. I'm like, sometimes now I'm thinking like, are these directors like hinting at something for the future? Like I know they're making a Wizard of Oz already, and I know
Yeah.
she's not directing that, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay, so I'm like, is this something in the future she's in the works of? Or
That
something?
multiverse.
I think
I
it was her
know.
past. I think she was she did a theater thing and she was Dorothy. There was
Yeah.
a shot of her.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think she's just got like I don't know.
Yeah, there was
a
like
thing for
Bringing it back.
yeah, there was like a, there was
her
a young,
childhood coming into play maybe.
yeah, there was a young girl who was like dressed as Dorothy. I think that was either supposed to be her or was actually her. But there's a lot of like popular movies in there. Like they took a shot at those Snyder Bros. With that line. There's some Godfather stuff in there. Kate McKinnon.
2001: A Space Odyssey. I love that opening.
Oh
sequence.
yeah.
That was
It is
such
so
a
good.
perfect.
Like, such a Barbie nerd that I am. Like, I thought that was the perfect introduction because that's the story. Like,
Yeah.
you know, all dolls were baby dolls at first, so
Mhm.
teaching girls about motherhood. And there
Yep.
wasn't a fashion doll, and like Ruth saw her daughter playing with the dolls and realized she was playing with the dolls as if they were adults. So she like, hey, let me just get build a adult doll,
Yeah.
fashion doll. So I thought that was really good. That went over a lot of people's heads at the beginning. I'm
Yeah.
like, know your Barbie history.
No, absolutely. There was also, Kate McKinnon with like the Matrix sort of like choose which your path is. The high heel of the Birkenstock.
Yeah.
The one that stood out to me in the movie, my sister, like she liked Barbie, but like she was like a Bratz kid. Like every movie, every cup, all that. And then the four girls, they were named Yasmin, Sasha, Chloe, and Jade. And like immediately went, oh, yep. Like Bratz. So the girl, like the four girls at the desk, that's really what stood out to me. I also heard that there's like a bunch of hidden bees, almost like hidden Mickeys throughout the movie as well. So it's definitely one of those movies you just gotta go back and like catch every little detail for sure. But Jamie Lee, I know you're about to head out. We're just gonna hit this last little topic here. So if you gotta go, it's totally cool. If you wanna stick around, you can stick around. No worries.
All right, I'm going to bounce. So thank you all for having me on, and thanks for letting me chat some more about Barbie. Any opportunity that I can, I'll take.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, let me just move that out so it's not in your face. But what did you all think about the set, the costume, music? Because like obviously that was such a like huge part of it too. Like I mentioned earlier, like High School Musical. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but like I don't know. I was getting like a like I said, Troy Bolton sort of moment from Ryan Gosling like running around and stuff.
I was dying. I don't know if you saw me, Tyrone, but like I was like cheering, like the funny tears. Like I was just cracking up because it's so stupid,
Yeah.
but like they spot on did it in like the most perfect, goofy way possible. Because you're not used to guys just like dancing, break
Right.
out like that. Especially if it's like Ryan Gosling too.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Simu's
so I was
like buff
just like,
running around like.
yeah, and they had those like sparkles whenever they were like yelling.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know
was
why.
fun.
The
I love the
yassification.
sparkle.
Cracking. Yes. No, but I thought that was like just the choreography throughout the whole movie was just like perfect.
Yeah.
Incredibly perfect.
And I thought they did a really good job too. Like it was so vibrant and saturated that when they got to the real world, you were kind of like, "Oh yeah, this is a movie." You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah.
it really just it really did that Wizard of Oz thing where it takes you away. And like I think like that's something so special about the Wizard of Oz that so many people try to recreate. And like I think Greta just nailed it. I mean, and the set design and the crew and like they just really put their all. And like we all saw the marketing for this. The marketing was just chef's kiss, like A1. And I was kind of like, okay, this is like a lot of marketing. Like, what if this thing is just not that great? But they knew. Like they were like, we got something on our hands here. Megan, what did you think of some of the set, costume, and music?
Oh, yeah. So as far as the sets go, I absolutely love the style of it. I love the attention to detail. Yeah, I watched this one video kind of about the behind the scenes of like Barbie's dream house, and they actually like hand painted a lot of things. They hand painted the backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
They also like almost everything was plastic. Like it was,
Mm.
they really made it feel like a Barbie house, and like I was just like, man, that just reminds me of the Barbie houses I had growing up. As far as the music, I love the music.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish's song like brings you to tears every time.
Yep.
And
Man.
I also loved Lizzo's song Pink. That was so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like acted as like a narrator
Yep.
too in a way. And I thought that was hilarious. I felt like a lot like at least both of the audiences I saw, they didn't really catch all the lyrics.
Mhm.
But I was like cracking up, and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, she's actually
Yeah, right. She's like she's narrating,
on
right?
into the scenes, you know?"
Right.
So I thought that was really cute. That's, I think, hands down, that's like my favorite like song of the entire movie.
Yeah.
But Charlie XCX had a great song too during that little chase sequence. That was fun.
Yep.
And
Ryan
then
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is,
Oh, yeah.
of course, like
Yep.
the Ken songs, and then singing Push. That was so funny.
Oh my
That's
God.
hilarious. But yeah, no, a lot of great song choices. Like the songs were minimal, but it's like you didn't need to have like a full on it wasn't like
Yeah.
a musical, but it had musical moments, so it kind of was like an in between type of thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. As far as the costumes, absolutely love the costumes. And actually, that's one thing I want to mention too. A lot of times in cinema, we kind of demonize hyper femininity.
Yeah.
Case in point, Mean Girls too. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing. And usually with the resolution of the film, or at the ending of the film, they kind of, well, I don't know. We didn't really get to too many spoilers. I don't want to spoil it too much, but
Yeah.
they could have had an opportunity to kind of way the femininity and hyper femininity, but with the Barbies, but they kept that. Everyone wore pink. Everyone had sparkles. Everyone was like adorable and cute. And
It worked.
stuff,
It
and
worked.
and
Yeah.
it worked really well, and I'm really glad we still have that. And I really hope that Barbies in the near future has really fun colors, because the recent Barbie dolls have been focusing more on diversity of the Barbies, which I appreciate, and I understand like it's production stuff, because you have to like figure out different molds and different hair textures and stuff. But I'm like, oh man, I wish there was more sparkles and more fun.
Yeah.
Like the Barbies from back in the day.
Yeah.
But hopefully this movie kind of brings in more options for the dolls to dress up.
Yeah, I imagine during Halloween there's gonna be a lot of Barbie dolls everywhere.
Oh, I'm gonna dress up like a Barbie for Halloween. I
yeah.
am, hands down.
Yeah, like, and like we've all like, it's like, when you think about like 2,200, it's like you think about what that looks like. It looks very like neon and sparkly and fun, and like it's only a matter of time before we get there as a society, in my opinion. And like Barbie is definitely the our way to get there, because that's what we need. I think I agree, Megan, that like we don't have to always have to like think about femininity, like you said, like it's like demonized. Like it's totally fine. You can be powerful and still wear pink, So that was really awesome. And speak of which, there was one scene that they were like gonna cut out, the bench scene. And I think you mentioned it, Anne Roth. She was the Oscar-winning costume designer who played the older woman. I thought that was a really cool little moment that they gave her, and just contrasting. And I love too that Barbie's like, "Wow, you're so beautiful," which is like kind of what we all expected her to say, and then the old woman's just like, "I know, thank you." Like she's like, "I know I'm bad."
Of course.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Instead of like oh, thank you. No, like no, she was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You're not telling me anything I don't know, right? She nailed it, and but like the one thing Greta said that like I guess the producers wanted to take that out, and I felt like that wouldn't have been the right choice, and I think she's really fortunate as a creator that like she really did have carte blanche to do what she wanted, and to have that, and I'm hoping, my hope is, because she really had to, she really got involved in the set and the costume, the music and everything, that going forward we'll get a lot more of that. So yeah, just super excited. Thalia, you were mentioning that Mattel, they have a couple other potential movies that they have coming, right? It's like Hot Wheels.
Well, no, I heard that they're trying to do like a universe, like a Marvel universe like this.
Mhm.
So I can see other spin-offs, maybe with Alan. Who knows?
Alan would be
Ken.
awesome.
Oh, I would love an Alan spinoff.
Yeah.
But I can see them developing, even more movies with these characters.
Yeah, if there was one character that could get a spinoff, who would you want to see more of?
Alan, duh. We need like Michael. We need like. I love Michael Cera so much.
Same.
I'm glad he's having like resurgence
Yes.
because he was kind of gone for a little bit. But I will love an Alan movie, and I hope they bring back like an Alan doll if they haven't already.
Yeah.
Because that was a
Oh my
discontinued
God.
doll.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I could definitely see that doll coming back because he was so good and what he did. And honestly, like I sort of felt like Alan at times where I'm just like sometimes I'm just like watching from a view like I'm just here, like and like I feel like a lot of people feel that way too. Like so Alan was awesome. Thalia, is there one that stood out to you?
No, I mean Alan would be great. I would love to see Ken come back again. Who
Mhm.
knows? Which Ken? Uh, obviously Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
But I'm open to all the other Kens, obviously.
Yeah, I'd love to see Killy Ken come into this universe at some point.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what I was thinking? It would be cool if rather than maybe like a whole movie, we got a bunch of short films with like the different characters. Like I would love to see Kate McKinnon's Barbie, like how she kind of got there, how she kind of got ostracized, and then like maybe we get to the end where you get that little cameo from Margot Robbie and the others like accepting her and stuff like that. That
That would be
interests me.
good.
Okay, Tyrone.
Yeah, no, it needs some Marvel treatment for sure. Like,
Yeah.
And before we get out of here and sign off, Mattel owns Uno. They own I mentioned earlier Hot Wheels. Is there any other like toy that you grew up with that you're like, I can see this kind of being in like its own thing or a movie? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, so.
Ooh.
Well, here's my thing. Okay, it's not Mattel,
Mhm.
but it's their competitors.
Mhm.
They already had a Bratz movie, but I think they need another Bratz movie because the Bratz movie was terrible. And now that they're doing like so Bratz recently did a rebrand
Mhm.
to fit more towards millennials and stuff. So they're
Oh,
really
okay.
facing more towards adult collectors like
Yeah.
millennials and Gen Z that grew up with Bratz. So I think that'll be kind of fun to do kind of like a Y2K type of style, kind of more mature, PG-13, heck, maybe even an R-rated
Right.
Bratz movie. That'll
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. I'd like to
want
see
that.
it. Right, yeah, exactly. Hollywood, call Meghan.
Right, I can't give them too many ideas,
Right.
with the strike going on.
Right.
Doing stabbing,
Right,
you
scratch
know?
that. Let me remove that from the video.
Edit that out.
Right.
But I think that'd be really cool. If
No,
someone
that-
wants to take that idea, I don't care.
Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. Talia, any for you?
I don't know. I mean, Bratz would be cool. I mentioned Polly Pockets. I don't know. I
that'd
was
be good.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it growing up.
Yeah.
And I think I had so much more Polly Pockets than Barbies because they were
Yeah.
just like tinier
Yeah.
and they were just like.
I
more
always
success-
the dresses I always wanted to chew on as a kid. They look like kind of like gummy.
I chewed on those.
All the dresses and the shoes, like they just looked delicious.
They
Like,
really
did.
They look delicious.
I,
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
I just thought of another doll that'd be great. That's actually that could be under the Marvel or not Marvel, the
Mattel
Cinematic Universe. Is My Scene. Do you remember the My Scene doll?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh
They
my
had a
god.
couple movies that were actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see a live action My
Yes.
Scene movie.
That's
Oh
really
my
good.
god.
I was thinking it's already gonna be one, but Daniel Kaluuya is working on Barney. So like I'm curious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious what he's gonna do with that because I'm like if it's somehow like Barbie, but it's Barney. Like, I just can't even imagine what he's trying to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, is it the story of the person behind Barney? Is it gonna be more like this? But I was a big Barney kid growing up, and you know, we all know Elmo. But the thing is too is like, it all depends, because like I was thinking Barbie, when you think of it, you think of like young girl, but I'm like, this obviously is not for young people. So like, if they're gonna make these, I feel like they gotta make it very clear it is not for children, because
for sure.
I don't
Definitely.
like I do not think young kids should be seeing this Barbie movie. So
No, like I was surprised that there was actually little girls going to see the movie. Like my second time I watched it, I was almost like, oh no, don't bring your kid to see this movie. You're gonna have to explain so much to them.
right,
Oh,
right,
Lord.
yeah.
Like I don't want kids to have an existential crisis.
Oh boy! All right, before we sign off, is there anything else that we haven't talked about or mentioned that you want to mention about the Barbie movie? I'm sure there's something, but no, we're all good.
Go watch it now.
Go watch it.
Run
all
to
right,
your theater.
Meghan, is there anything going on your channel, your page, or your world at all?
Oh yeah, well I'm still trying to figure things out with this writers and SAG strike too. But I'm doing a lot of posts about that on my story, so definitely check out my Instagram if you want any updates on that.
I'll link it down below.
Definitely. But yeah, otherwise I do movie and TV reviews, so you can check out some of my older stuff too. In the meantime, but yeah, if you want any strike updates that I could find, definitely check me out.
Right, yeah. The only reason we're even doing this is because I saw SAG said it was okay for YouTubers to criticize movies and critique. So, but yeah, other than that, like you said, echoing the same thing. Definitely gotta go out there, support the writers, and follow Meghan for more information about that. Thalia, what do we got for tea time right now? Is there any show we should be watching or something? Like, what are you watching right now? What are you watching?
Well, I'm finally watching Gilmore Girls. So never watched it when I was younger, and it's so corny, but I just love it.
Yeah.
So I'm finishing up that right now. I don't know what's next afterwards. I'm just rewatching shows. Sorry, not rewatching. Watching shows that I didn't get to watch when I was younger.
That makes sense.
So I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, we
I do have a review coming up though. I almost forgot. Yeah, I do have a new review coming up for an indie web series.
Ooh,
so that's gonna be really cool. Yeah, so it's a TV show, and yeah, so more information on that. So follow me for that. No shade to them, but it's awesome.
Yeah. We started watching Gilmore Girls like years ago, and I never finished. Like I'm only on season 3. Like it's so long. They're like 45 minutes, but the dialogue is like 90 pages for like a 45-minute. It's crazy.
I know.
One other like thing before I go is, everyone's talking about Barbenheimer this weekend, but they cloned Tyrone. Also came out on Friday, and let me tell you, I just watched it before that movie was funny. Like we really should have called it this week, and they cloned Barbenheimer, because like they nailed it. Like Jamie Foxx, oh my god, back in his bag. John Boyega, like that is like, I would say if you are just looking for something to laugh at or like watch, trust me, They Cloned Tyrone was definitely it. But all right. Thank you, all three of you, even though Jamie Lee's not here, for being on. And yeah, definitely go out and see Barbie, because it was fantastic. Meghan, thanks for coming on. Thalia, thank you for coming on.
You.
Thank you.
As we always say here, everyone, just be you. Peace.